Okay, can you hear me now? I hope so. Thanks for letting me know. How is it now? I'm glad I saw your comments there. How is it now? Let me take this moment to see if I've got things in focus and bright enough to see what we're drawing. Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie, 81 Tizzle, Klaus, Alexa, Ike. Thank you for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. That's great. It's so good having you here, having my friends here to let me know what's going on. So I recently did a factory restart of my computer, and I guess this is the first solo stream that I'm doing since then. So that we did Drawn Together last week and the week before, and this is the first time streaming on my own since the reset, and I had to reset up my live stream and put this into focus a bit. So I had to set up OBS again, and I hadn't added a sound input to it. So I have to puzzle this all together behind the scenes. And I'm so glad that you were able to tell me that you couldn't hear me. I was just saying that this week I uploaded my latest Patreon tutorial, and we sketched Ricardo Frenzel-Baldisch, who was in Panama at the time and is now on stage in Vienna, I think. And it's part one of two. This was the main drawing, and it's about measuring by eye and the kind of my approach to the way I see things, and I feel like it's a foundational tutorial, and that's something I put up on Patreon this week. So thank you to everyone who has joined my Patreon recently. It's so awesome having so many people to share with. And today we're going to sketch from the amazing street photography of Zeren Yu, who I became aware of via Larry David Callanan, who was on here recently, and whose awesome photos we sketched from November last year. And here, this is the first image. This one, I have flipped the reference. 18 people are here. Awesome. Thank you. If you would like to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, that would be awesome. And once I've finished this, I'll go through and I'll timestamp each of the portraits, and you'll be able to jump back to particular portraits and stuff. That takes usually a couple of days before I can get around to doing that, before everything's processed. But we're going to be doing 10-minute portraits, and it's nice having some of the 10-minute portrait crew here. I'm going to be doing a 10-minute portrait challenge again in February, and I'd love you to join. Probably at a different time slot this time around. But yeah. Here is the original image, and it's been so awesome. I've looked through all of Zeren's photos, and as with David Callanan, I was like, your work is amazing. Can we sketch from your work? And he's totally happy for us to. So we're going to do 10-minute portraits from Zeren's work. You've arrived just in time. Fortunately, Roseanne, I didn't have any sound. Unfortunately, our dear friends in the chat told me, and so that bought some time. I'm just going to get my timer set up so that we can stick to 10 minutes approximately. I've got my reference over to the left here. Oh yeah, that was a thing as well. If anyone would like to sit and hang out in Zoom, I have Zoom open, and then we can have an actual conversation if you like. I will do my best to see what's on here, Roseanne, and I'll let people in when I can multitask well enough and divide my attention. Hi, Roseanne, nice to see you. Yeah, and if you are joining Zoom, you can keep YouTube on because that's awesome for the stats. But you can mute it. And now, getting ready for the first 10-minute portrait. I don't know if this is going to be framed for you. No, it's not. Okay, I'll just put it over here. I'm going to be working with ink today. I really liked how it worked out with David Callahan's. I'm going to start with a pen, perhaps pencil. I'd love to know what you're all working with today, where you're joining from. Christina from chilly Newport Beach. I know where some of you are from, but feel free to chat and become dear friends in the live chat. And I'm doing a giveaway today, so anyone who's keen to perhaps win a sketch of mine, let me know in the chat, and maybe you win a sketch. Okay, so maybe some of you have had a head start, had a few extra minutes with this piece. But let's start drawing. If you were to join Zoom, you'd see the same setup. Oh no, I've got to spotlight myself so you can see that. You'll see the same thing you would see on YouTube, because I can now use OBS as a virtual camera. So you see the same setup and it'll be great. Okay, yes, I have my calligraphy pen here as well. Dip pen I saw, that's awesome. Hi Ashley, awesome having you with us. Lots of rain. Okay, I would love you to keep chatting in the chat. I'm going to start drawing now, so 10 minutes now. It's been such a delight seeing Zeren's work, and I have never been to China, but I was kind of struck with, there's this, perhaps it's the style of photography, but a similar energy to David Callahan's portraiture, up close and personal, on the streets, and so much life to these portraits. So cool. Yeah, and I've tagged, I put Zeren's Instagram account down here, so be sure to follow Zeren and check out all of that amazing photography, because I've spent the week going in and out of his Instagram feed, just loving his work. It's so nice. And maybe I said before I put the sound on that it's like traveling vicariously through the lens of Zeren. It's so cool. So yeah, I have never had cause to be in China, not yet, but it's just I love the humanity, seeing all these faces and seeing all this life in a place I've never been. And I have traveled in the past, but since having kids, I spent a lot of my time at home. I was talking to Kira about it, and she's like, "No, you don't even leave the house." So yeah, it's really amazing to be able to have this kind of experience of being on the street, seeing all of these people, and all from the convenience of being at home with sick kids. Holly has been sick this week, so spent a lot of time with her. 2.5 minutes in. So how is everyone? It's always lovely seeing so many familiar names in the chat, and great to see your work when you're sharing on Instagram, and to recognize your names from the 10-minute portrait live streams. So yeah, I'm going to do that again in February. It may be a time when a lot of people aren't able to participate, because I'm thinking about doing it in the morning, my time. So I'm not sure how that'll work for most of you, but we shall see. How clean is my brush? Not very. Okay. Oh yeah, that's okay. So even if you're not able to join live in the February edition, of the 10-minute portrait challenge, I would still love you. You could still tune in at 8:30 if that worked well for you last month. And yeah, I'd love you to join the fun, keep the learning together, practicing together, keep it going. And it's so great seeing you joining Drawn together as well, which is just so much fun. It's lovely doing that together with Shannon, and it was so nice talking to Toling on Thursday. So thanks to those of you who joined. And all of these live streams, of course, you can watch them whenever you want. It's lovely having you here live, but if you're not able to make it, then you can watch the replay. But if you want to win one of these originals, you'll have to make the effort to come and be here live. Oh, Ashley can barely hear me. How is everyone else hearing me? I just moved the microphone a bit closer. You can barely hear me is better than not being able to hear me at all, which is how it was a few minutes ago. How's it sound now? Thank you for mentioning it, Ashley. Don't be sorry to tell me when things aren't working out. I need to know. I can't know if no one tells me. So thank you. Thank you for speaking up in the chat. It looks to me like my audio input is looking good. Like pretty much full volume. Oh. I set my phone lock to 5 minutes, so I think now we're about 4. In between portraits, I'll have to change the settings, so I don't have to keep turning on my phone to see the timer. Can you hear me better now, Ashley? I hope so. '81 Tizzle, ink, dip pen and brush, excellent. So this is it's the first portrait, getting into the flow, figuring out the setup. It's always interesting to see throughout these sessions by the end of it. I know that in some of the past ones, some of my favorite portraits have been late in the game. And it's similar to in my latest Patreon video where I just showed the pics of Ricardo. I started with a blind contour drawing just to get warmed up. Half blind. Peripherally, I didn't look at the paper, but peripherally I could kind of see it. And just having something to help loosen up, I think is incredibly helpful, which is like what we do on Thursdays, starting with 30-second poses in my weekly Zoom sessions. So yeah, Zeren said he'd love to try and be awake for the live stream. But it's like it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Sleep is good. Has anyone in the chat been to Shanghai or been to China? Or if you're watching the replay, let me know if you've been there. Or Zeren, if you're watching, I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and it's been so cool. Just David Callanan and Zumento have been on a street photography trip in Mumbai the past week, which has been so exciting. Another intense experience of traveling vicariously, just watching the posts and stories of those two. Looks like an incredible journey. And I was chatting to David and he said that it's like basically it's a street photographer's everything. It's like non-stop action, always something happening, so many people. Looks really incredible. I've still got a minute left. That feels generous. It's interesting. Trying to just take a moment for things to dry. Looking at my webcam setup, the way it's making things look. It's kind of interesting. I hope it looks good for you. So I've got two brushes on the go. One is for when I want to get really dark, and one is hopefully going to be kept for midtones. I'm frozen. Okay. Really? It looks like it's moving to me. I just got the feedback that I'm frozen on Zoom. Hopefully things will unfreeze. That's 10 minutes. Am I frozen? Did everyone? You can take a breath. I think I'm not frozen. Okay, awesome. That's good that YouTube is moving. Maybe if I'm still frozen on Zoom. I'm just going to adjust my screen settings on the phone so that I don't have to unlock every time. And you can, if I'm okay on YouTube. That's good to hear. If anyone wants to join Zoom, you can follow the link below and find your way. There's an extra step now to hopefully avoid bots. I'm just trying to figure out. Here we go. Do not auto lock after 5 minutes. Okay. Next image. Diogo, all good. Thank you. Okay, so the next photo we have is this one. So nice, so nice. I like people, and it's so nice. Just there's something so beautiful and human about the. I wonder if the process is similar to David's, just taking the image before asking, which I think is kind of confrontational. It would make me feel a bit uncomfortable, but what they capture with these photos is just so nice. So Roseanne, can you see now in Zoom a different reference? No? Okay, I will change the camera and see if that fixes it. Okay, now it's just looking frozen. Okay, that's unfortunate. So that's, maybe this. Okay, this is a different camera. I hope you'll be able to see it like this. Yeah. Just doing some troubleshooting in Zoom parallel to this. I wonder. Yeah, I've had to reset up everything on my computer. Not right now. Or I do this and do this again. That might work. So you can ask all sorts of questions in the chat since I'm doing other things at the moment, and we'll. Okay, that probably looks better now, right, Roseanne? Cool. And there's my hand. All right, the show goes on. Ronnie asks, is anyone familiar with Shots magazine? It comes out 4 times a year and it's black and white photography. Not as yet, but that sounds really cool. Let us know what other sources of amazing photography and reference. Where do people find their reference when you're doing portraiture? 10 minutes has begun. Let's draw. Thanks for letting me know, Roseanne. I might go straight to... Oh no, not the calligraphy pen. I wanted to go straight to calligraphy pen, but I don't have waterproof ink in there. So I'll start pretty quick and loose with this. I realized as I was drawing the other one, I felt like I would have liked the portrait to be a lot bigger. So this one is, and I feel like the photo really lends itself towards, it's just up so close. It's interesting sometimes having the portrait smaller and more kind of gesture, a bit more of the figure and body language can be cool. But I felt like in that last one I would have liked it to be a bit closer. I'll definitely have to look up Shots magazine, Ronnie. That's a cool tip. In the past, I often have found really awesome reference via the Sketchy, now Museum app, and the Canyo Telegram group chat, which is a reference sharing community where people upload mostly selfies to draw each other. It's really cool. And I've seen that I know that other online art teachers use Unsplash and Pixel, where there's also incredible photography, royalty-free photography. And of course, there's getting your own reference, which is the coolest. But I'm not able to get to Shanghai to take these incredible photos, and that's something I love about the creative online sharing artistic space and social media, is that people are sharing stuff from all over the world, and there's so much generosity and exchange of ideas and inspiration. That's really lovely to be a part of. And I think offers a really beautiful opportunity to connect to other creative people as well. Everyone's creative in some way. A wonderful opportunity to connect. All right, how we're going? 3.5 minutes. In case you're, if you want to take a bit longer, like this could also be the starting point for longer poses, and you can come back and like rewatch the stream. You could use these as a jumping off point, and these quick portrait sketches is something that I practice. Have been practicing every week. Every Tuesday we do between 30 seconds and 6-minute poses. Which just helps to get started, to be decisive, just start getting things on paper. And the more often you practice, or it has been my experience that it can be, in the beginning it was totally like intimidating and not always satisfying, but I kind of knew that in the long run with enough practice it would lead to more kind of freedom and ease with getting down getting something down kind of without having to deliberate over it too much. So just this week I was, actually our my sisters-in-law are visiting at the moment, and Louisa said that she was watching a couple of my videos and has started doing some YouTube drawing tutorials, which is awesome because she has a fairly high-level office job with the associated stress, and she said it's so great to be able to do something creative and kind of come down a bit and just focus on something different. And then I realized that maybe for some people what I'm offering may not seem like how to begin drawing. I wonder, I feel like whatever level you're at, if you just go for it and start drawing, even though it seems overwhelming and complex, which portraiture definitely can be overwhelming and complex. If I was thinking about it today, I think this approach to observational drawing can be applied to whatever subject matter you choose to draw, really. As I tend not. Well, it's about what you see and observing, rather than an understanding of what it is you're looking at, which is also a wonderful thing to have. Like an understanding of anatomy. I know that can be so helpful, like improvising and doing stuff from imagination, if you really have internalized that understanding. Even when drawing from observation, and it can help you to know what it is exactly you're looking at. But I feel like the observational approach, that no matter what's in front of you, if you really just tune in to what you're looking at, then we're able to represent it in our drawing, in our work. So yeah, it's maybe not like this is a beginner's drawing tutorial, but I hope that people are not too intimidated and can kind of. I have had people come along to my drawing sessions who are like, haven't drawn in decades, and it seems like a bit like jumping in the deep end of the pool. But if you're able to just kind of go with it, I feel like there's really so much you can learn and develop through this focused practice. And I hope that you feel the same, or that you maybe have a glimpse of that in your own process. Just in a couple of weeks, I've had a couple people, 3 people contact me, kind of feeling stuck in their progress, which was interesting. And I would be happy to be of service in whatever way I can, and if there's something that I can help with, then I'd love you to let me know. Anything you want to focus on, any questions you have. But for those of you just drawing along, just happy doing your thing, that's awesome too. In whatever capacity you are here, watching and participating, that's great. Ronnie says it was scary at first, and the more you do it, the better it gets. Yeah, it's been really wonderful having you come along on Tuesdays, Ronnie. It is scary at first. I remember the first time I hosted one of these. It was a real life session, and I was sweating and not particularly content with what I was sketching, but something about the super focused practice was really like rewarding and compelling, and that with some dedication to it, I really noticed that I relax into it and really learned a lot. Lewis is here. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's great having you with us, Lewis. I hope you can stay too. Ah, have I zoomed in a bit, right. Very exciting. This coming Thursday, Shannon and I will be chatting with Tyler Thrasher. Does anyone know who Tyler Thrasher is? Have you seen that in my stories? He's amazing and I can't wait to chat with him. All right, that's it. Wow. That's interesting, the development between the first one and that one. Awesome. There was a different quality to the reference, a lot more shadow in the face, so like and a lot more wrinkles and stuff, so a lot more to kind of draw from. That was fun. Okay. Oh, this one's cool. So I think Zeren just posted this yesterday and I was like, wow, that's so cool, we have to draw this. It was so nice to do it yellow, but I'm kind of set up for black ink at the moment. So maybe another time. Maybe do it yellow another time. Hi, Shannon. Shannon's in the chat. Cool, Ronnie. I'm really glad that it's been a boost for you, and it's been lovely drawing you. Like, such cool poses. So it's really been great having you part of the group. I'm going to have a drink. How's that second sketch for everyone else? Do you feel like you've loosened up a bit between the first one and that one? Okay. Next one. 10 minutes. Go. Got this. At some point, I would like to optimize my lighting setup. I got this cable shadow kind of hanging. It's a bit improvised. I don't have any kind of professional lighting setup. I have this desk clamp thing, and I have the ceiling light over there. So you can get like amazing key lights and colored lights, and I know that Shannon has a really cool light. And sometimes I would like a bit more control of my light situation. But we'll see as things progress. Maybe that will happen. Elizabeth, welcome from Toronto. Yeah, hashtag on Instagram, exactly. I've got, what's going on now? There's like, wait a minute. I'm going to pause. You can have some extra time for this one. I've got this black bar at the edge now. Why is that? But I was just going to say, these hashtags over here, you can use those when you're sharing. What? Why is it cropped like that? Oh well, you can still see my drawing. I don't know why it's cropped in that black bar at the edge. We'll just go with it. Yeah, you can use the hashtag drawingwithdylan and hashtag 10-minute portrait, and you can follow those hashtags and you'll be able to see what other people are posting within them. And if you tag me, if you're sharing on Instagram, tag me, particularly in stories. It's really easy for me to then reshare your work, and I love seeing it and I love sharing it. So yeah, use those hashtags and feel free to tag me. Tag Zeren as well, the photographer. I can imagine he would appreciate seeing what people have done with his amazing photos. So yeah, thanks for the question, Elizabeth. Anyone who's not, is anyone here not on Instagram? If you are and would like to follow each other, you could put your Instagram handles in the chat, and then become Instagram friends. I'm also on TikTok. I post on YouTube Shorts as well, which is basically like TikTok and Reels but on YouTube. I'm on Facebook, but it's kind of, I post things in there. I share these events. I know that some people who come to these are only on Facebook, and so I like list these live streams as events and can kind of make it shareable and discoverable in that way. Oops, I'm running out of face space, making the chin too small here. Can I salvage that? It's like the risk for me, like not planning out and kind of just doing the outline of the face first, is that sometimes you like put down this frame of the face and then you can potentially fill it and not actually be finished putting everything in. But maybe by putting the shadow a bit lower below this mark, I can kind of save that a bit. Okay, I'm going to start putting some ink in. In the mood for love. I don't know it, but maybe I should get to know it. So that was from Ashley. The wonderful moodiness of the images reminds me of the film In the Mood for Love. Yeah, there's something definitely incredibly cinematic about a lot of these images, like Shannon's quote with the street photography of David Callanan was David makes everyone look famous. That was from you, right, Shannon? That was such a good observation. And yeah, make sure you go check out Zeren's Instagram, because I have a folder which had like the short list of images I thought we might use. Then there were way too many. It's pretty hard to choose. And there are just so many more on Instagram. I think I made this eye kind of a bit small. It was like cropped by the hair here, but I feel like the positioning of it was a bit off. Can't erase that original mark, but can try to give enough kind of weight and emphasis to the correction that the mistake is a little kind of concealed by it. We're over halfway, got 4 minutes left. So this I was thinking, by getting really, really dark with the eye, it kind of distracts a bit from the messiness of the corrected line there. And that was a comment I read from someone recently, that they find it difficult to use a medium that they can't erase and redo. And that is definitely a big part of going straight to ink, is you can't. But there are potentially, like here, there are other ways to kind of adjust, to potentially not go in so heavy-handed in the beginning, or to kind of shift your line work, double things up a bit, and sometimes it's still possible to to save things. And if it's not savable, then you learn from that as well. Ah, that's cool, Ashley. I've noticed also sometimes a mess up can be a genius moment, rare, and I live for those rare times. Yeah, right. I There's one particular piece I remember. I was doing this big portrait um, from a reference on Sketchy of Adam Vitry, and it was really wet, lots of ink on it, and I dropped it, and all of the wet ink went like, whoosh, and there was so much about it that I was really enjoying. I was like, oh no! But then the explosive motion of the ink after dropping it, I was like, oh wow, that's actually cooler than anything I would have intentionally done. So that's not genius on my part necessarily. Good fortune, having a happy accident. But yeah, I totally appreciate that sentiment, that sometimes you can make these unintentional errors and then be like, oh, actually, like it's got something cool about it. I'm echoing. What's going on? Why am I echoing? All right, that's it. 10 minutes is up. Thank you, Fred Stone, for telling me I'm echoing. Why? I only have one audio input. Sound is coming into my ears. Yeah? How intense is the echo, Fred Stone? Anyone who's interested in winning one of these sketches, there are 23 people watching at the moment, 16 likes, with 27 people how did that happen? 27 people watching. If you tell me in the chat that you would like to win one of my sketches, you have a 1 in 27 chance at the moment to win. Every time I do one of these multiple 10-minute portrait live streams, I give away one of the originals. So at the end, I'll flip back through everything I've done so far. And no echo on YouTube. Good. No echo on YouTube. Was I just repeating myself, perhaps, Fred Stone? Maybe let's move on to the next image. So yeah, I'd like to see everyone lighting up the chat with, I'd like to win a sketch, I'd like to win a sketch, and maybe you will. And let's move on to the next one. Ah, look at this. How good is this? So this is our photographer. This is Zeren. Ashley would love to win all of my sketches. Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do that sometime. Maybe I'll give them all away sometime. This is Zeren. Zeren, our photographer. Oh, this is so cool. What an amazing image. So I've actually flipped the reference for this one because I thought otherwise he'd be looking off of the screen, which I thought kind of felt a bit wrong as I was setting up the live stream. 81 Tizza would love to win one. Ashley would love to win all of them. Collie would love to win one. Elizabeth would love to win a sketch. Awesome. Yeah. E. Parker got sent out to Marion, who was watching the mugshot live stream. So I love giving away my stuff. I probably give away more than I sell. Anyone who'd like to buy one is also welcome to inquire. Let's draw Zeren. I love this. So cool with the light from below. And Roseanne, who's in Zoom, anyone who wants to join Zoom, you can check out in the description for Roseanne has won a giveaway as well. So it's so fun sending my art out into the world to all of these friends. It's great. 10 minutes. Let's go. This is so cool. Could almost go like, maybe do it. Go straight to ink with a lighter ink. This could be go straight to the brush. Adventurous. I wonder, I may come and darken all of this up, but it's also really cool to try things that are different to the usual approach, and just going in with these shapes rather. I heavily rely on line work in my portraits, and even when I was oil painting, I had a phase where I was like oil painting and I felt so lost without line work. So, this thing about getting outside of your comfort zone, that's a good place to grow and where magic happens, and just trying something different. So I do so much line work that it's interesting to try a no-line approach, which I have done in the past, but it's not my go-to thing. Does anyone watching have any ways they like to mix up their process to reinvigorate things? This is such an awesome, moody image. Very cinematic, right? Some great crazy distortion through the lens, shrinking down the side of the face and eye over here. This is amazing. It's like it's an entire. If you were here and saw the original image, like an entire portrait within the frame of a rearview mirror. It's pretty cool. All right, almost 7 minutes left. That's fun. I'm now gonna go to my lines. Come and add that a bit of a reverse approach, but it's interesting, like with this really grey tone, there's still a lot of wiggle room if we wanted to adjust something. Like you could come in with the pen and could even do a completely different drawing on top of it. And it could be this interesting like shadow echo image below. Markham, what's the size of the flat brush? It's a 20. Does that mean it's 2 centimeters wide? Could be. Size 20. Using... I was actually thinking about this thing of using like oversized tools or using something big and then trying to get some finesse with it. Is, I think, really an interesting way to get pretty dynamic marks. Thanks for asking, Marion. Marion, who was the last winner of one of my 10-minute portrait sketches. It was so nice seeing your post. I'm glad that eParker arrived well. It's always nice to see when my work arrives places, and sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it ends up where it's supposed to be. The Chinese who do not care to have their image taken. Not all, of course. Older fellows afraid of their soul being captured in the taking of the image. I'm not sure. I've heard that about lots of places, lots of kind of cultures. I wonder if there's something about the like in... I feel, and this has been like my kind of challenge doing kind of street photography kind of stuff in my travels, there's something very presumptuous about kind of grabbing people's photo. Something about the slowness of drawing a portrait is, really nice. But I've heard that about various like indigenous cultures as well. It could be many. Either it's like could be applicable to lots of places. Not sure if it's a specific culture. Oh, there's something so light about this. It's such a dark image. I'm wondering, kind of a bit apprehensive about going really dark, but it could be interesting in some areas. There's this kind of fragile, beautiful, like soft state, and it's like it could either set it off in a really awesome, strong contrast, or it could then call for adapting everything to the increased contrast, and then it's like becomes tricky in a short time frame. Like I've often had ink portraits, ink wash, where it's kind of once you go too dark somewhere, it's like, oh, you've got to go around adjusting everything. So if anyone has any knowledge about that idea of people not wanting their souls captured in a photo, feel free to weigh in on it. It's an interesting idea. This nice dry brush thing happening at the moment. I can get some really interesting marks as the bristles of the brush kind of feather out, and it's really cool. dangerous now. I've just got 15 seconds left. Like I just thinking I could add some kind of finer detail, but I feel like there could be certain things that I would do to it in this state, which would then be like, oh no, now I need to do a lot more of it. Now I need to balance it out all over the place. And it's interesting to try the challenge of trying to keep something minimal. All right, cool. That was a fun portrait. Per Eriksson, I'm so slow. 10 minutes just makes me stressed. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I also I suggested if it is kind of overwhelming, just kind of get started, and something like it, maybe just focus on the eyes, just work on the eyes, or just pick part. Don't feel like you have to do everything. I've practiced a lot, but I think it's a really interesting challenge if it is overwhelming and there's like, it can be so complex and there's so much subtle stuff happening that it's just an exercise in reducing the elements that you want to, what can you represent, like what can you get done in that time, or just don't even think about the time, just work at your usual pace and maybe start from a particular area and just expand out. And it could just be the starting point. You could come back to this and rewatch it, and but I know it can really get you sweating doing time portrait sketching. But it's great to have you here, Per, and I'm glad you enjoy seeing the reference and the way I work. But I've been practicing a lot. I don't want to scare anyone away by just looking at the way that I draw. Shannon is a slow drawer too. Shannon's listening to conversation and watching the north-crested jackspoos, the ring-billed gulls. That's so cool. That was such a nice photo. Was that one of yours that you shared in your story, Shannon? As I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to win one of these originals, then tell me. There are 29 people watching now, so maybe there are a couple people watching now who weren't watching when I said it last time. If you tell me in the chat that you'd like to win an original sketch, you might. Every 2 weeks, I do a live stream like this, and I always give away one of the portraits. Sharing is caring. This is so cool. There's just so many awesome images. Thank you, Zeren. It's like, the bamboo stacked against the pole in the background, the bike, so good. I love it. So let's get in a little bit closer with our muse. You're fascinated, Per. That's great. Yeah, and so it's something I've seen in my regular weekly sessions on Zoom, that sometimes some people who've joined, they have just like focused on eyes the whole time. And it looks incredible. And then there's this page full of different eyes, and it's like it becomes an eye study rather than trying to capture the whole thing. So whatever situation, whatever circumstance you're in, you can kind of adjust it to your own thing. It's like, this is a guideline, this is kind of a suggestion, and there are no rules, and you can make it yours. So yeah. Christina, you're the best. You're all the best. Thank you all for being here. 10 minutes with this person. I think I'll go straight to brush again. Last time I liked that. 10 minutes now. Oh, so cool. Such a strong silhouette. And this like area of light detail in the face is actually super interesting. Maybe actually I'll do a little pencil drawing of like the light area in the beginning, so I know, like, just to preserve the highlights. And by squinting I kind of see, okay, where are the highlights roughly. And this is also like a half blind drawing. This might not work out, but I want to brush in most of this because it's such a big It's awesome silhouette, like such a big, strong shape. Kind of. There's something about these 10-minute things, like if they don't work out, I also like doing this right now. What I'm doing, I feel like it's only 10 minutes, so it's like it's an opportunity to experiment, maybe try something different, try a different approach. And if it doesn't work out, you've only invested 10 minutes of your life into it, which I find quite relaxing. So it's like, it's not a relaxing way to draw. It's pretty intense. But the idea of like each drawing is a 10-minute thing rather than a week-long project. That's like the relaxing part. Well, actually my ink is so light now, I can maybe even those lighter areas could do with, like, this is super light. Hopefully it will dry quick enough for me to work on top of it. Haha, cool. Blackie Francis, Barbara, pages full of glasses in your Drawing with Dylan books. Yeah, yours is one of the, like, I know there have been a few people who've joined who've done these reduced, like, rather than be overwhelmed with the short time frame, to focus on the particular part. And your pages look awesome. It's so cool. Oh, there's something really delightful, I think, about the layering of this really light ink wash. I think ink wash is such a cool medium. It's similar to watercolor, but different in its permanence, like not being able to push things around so much. But I love the effect you can get from like layering things up. Oh yeah, you can see that pretty well on the screen. That's cool. And yeah, it's this really fun kind of additive process, like adding more shadows, layering things up, getting darker. And that'll be interesting on top of all of the kind of subtlety of what's going on in these layers, to then put down some really definitive, bold line work in the areas that are asking for it. We're about halfway right now. Barbara, were you doing the gris roulette? It's amazing seeing all of the things that you do. You're so productive, participating in so many things. All right, calligraphy pen time. And Ashley says, I have to constantly shut the brain down and allow the hands and eyes to be the boss. Yeah. How cool you were at Gris Roulette. Hi, Robin. Finally joining live again. Love these interesting faces. Yeah, how good are these photos? Thank you again and again to you, Zeren, for the amazing reference. Barbara, if you want, you could come to Zoom. We have a very cozy Roseanne and I sitting together in Zoom. Anyone else who wants to can as well. What was in Greece Roulette today? Greece has this really cool format. Greece has so many different live streams, where it's kind of like chance determines what will be drawn. And it's by rolling dice, right? I joined in once. I think that was like the process to like not know before the live stream what's going to be drawn. So I'm totally like faces, portraits are my niche. And Chris draws everything. People, drawings and colours. It's very nice to witness and a great chance for those who are watching. Thank you to everyone who's watching. And thank you, People, Drawings and Colours, for the comment. It is, it's so much fun drawing together. And we are blessed by these incredible reference images. If anyone who's watching happens to not yet be subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love you to. I do these these live streams every 2 weeks. Next month I will be doing, in February, I'll be doing a 10-minute portrait live stream every day, just like I did in December. And Thursdays we do the Drawn Together show. Shannon and I have amazing guests on, and we do longer portrait poses where we sketch for at least an hour. So this year is going to be a big YouTube year for me. We're doing lots of live streaming, and if you'd like to participate, then make sure you're subscribed and get notified whenever I'm going live. All right, 45 seconds left. Same thing like with the last one. It's like I could go, if I go really dark, it's going to set off, it's going to be such a different kind of balance in the image. So it'll be interesting. What can I do with those few seconds left? Also, don't feel stressed. If you're not like quite finished, then finish it later. Or if you've only just begun but would like to keep working on it, finish it later. Just come back to it. I don't want to stress anyone. That's not what I'm here to do. But I like drawing and learning together, so. Going over time. Need something dark down the bottom to balance it a bit after putting the hair there. This one I could spend a lot more time on. Like, I love all the subtle layering here. It's kind of like the darkness I put down in the hair is so dominant now. But I like the play between that really dark and the light subtle layering. But this one, it could do with a bit more time. But maybe later, maybe not. Next image. Today you drew a ukulele, a pigeon, and a funny portrait and a figure. Amazing. Oh yeah, he's got such a great mouth, Ronnie. Our next muse is going to be... Oh, this one. How good is this? I love the reflection in the glasses as well. I can see Zeren like leaning down. Oh, such a beautiful image. So nice. I showed this to my kids. Oh, the panda on the top. That's great. I showed it to my kids today. Showed them all of these photos we're going to be working from. And at first they were like, is that you? Like, is that you as a child? It's like, no, that's not me. Oh, so adorable. Let's draw this adorable child. Yeah, it was with the hair. This one was a bit tricky. I'd like to have get the reference a bit closer. Maybe I will zoom my camera out a bit. Can I even do that? If I get a bit further away, and then I can give the reference a bit more space so that you can all see it a bit bigger. So adorable. Okay. $10, and we're halfway. $10 now. How to begin? It's tricky. I'm going to go with the pencil first. Children are so different. Maybe to get that adorable hair in, I'm going to shrink it down a bit. You could just spend the 10 minutes drawing the reflection in the glasses. That's so cool. Did anyone not start this drawing with the glasses? I feel like getting the glasses down first just helps to kind of get things in place. I just realized I started drawing the nose here. This is this thing of like drawing what you see rather than what you think you see. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that this kind of approach to observational drawing kind of translate to whatever you're drawing. I'll go back in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. I was going to put the nose here, and it was maybe like, if it was an adult face, maybe the nose would have been there. But I guess the shadow kind of fits with it. But I was thinking this is like the bottom edge of the nose. And then I'm like, wait a minute. There's such a cute little nose. And it'd be so easy to get the proportions wrong. So that was a moment where I had to catch myself, and I'm glad I'm working with pencil because it's like, oh no, this is like adorable little nose, and I'm about to make it way too big. And yeah, if you can catch yourself in those moments where you're drawing what you think rather than what you're actually looking at, then you have this opportunity to catch what you're doing and reconsider. Anyone here love drawing kids? They're hard, right? I practice. Yeah. So it's so easy to make them look like adults, right? Or make them look like teenagers, or it's a challenge. Sometimes I'll draw my kids while they're eating, while we're sitting at the table, or while they're doing homework. And it's good to get a bit of practice. So drawing kids is hard. Don't beat yourself up if this doesn't work out for you. It's all good practice. For a while I thought, when I started having kids, I was like, maybe I'll do kids portraits as a thing. Maybe that'll be my thing. And I painted Icon a few times when he was a baby, and it didn't really take off. And I'm glad I didn't limit myself to doing kids portraits, but I did get some practice painting and drawing friends' kids. And it's nice to mix things up a bit and occasionally draw a kid. And I am happy to draw kids, but I'm also happy that I didn't choose that to be the thing that I do. About halfway now. I'm not going to draw that hand. Cute chubby hand. No thank you. The hair. Aha, Robin. Trying to learn so you can draw your grandbabies. Also, the second one will be here this week. That's very exciting. It's so nice. Yeah. Yeah, practice. Practice helps. And I think observational drawing. I feel like for me it's been like the key to everything. Like, there are things I've seen, like these kind of method drawing, and they're like, this is what the heroic proportions of an adult male and the heroic portions of an adult female are supposed to look like, and it's all kind of broken down into this way. And maybe that's helpful to kind of have a starting point, but rarely does anyone look like that. And yeah, I was often just frustrated with like the stiffness of my results working with those kind of processes. I know other people do incredible stuff using that, but it was not really my thing. And yeah, there are pigtails on both sides. Just one's got a hand in front of it. So yeah, practice. Don't be discouraged when it doesn't work out, because I've made plenty of adorable kids look less adorable in my drawings. And I would say this kind of thing, like what I'm doing, starting light and getting things established, and then working towards being darker, is a good way to go, because you can compensate for things if you're building it up like that. If you go in heavy in the beginning, it can be a bit tricky, I reckon. But if you start light, they have these incredible flawless faces, and it's great here that we've got these fun glasses and this wonderful chubbiness that gives some kind of something to draw. Beautifully lit. But yeah, challenging and beautiful little muses. Oh, just a minute left. Just been very careful with this. There's so much left to do. Time's up, but I want to give it a little bit more. How are people going with their baby portraits? I hope I haven't scared any of you away. Oh, it's so challenging drawing kids, but in the end, it is also just some marks on paper that we're doing. We're not hurting anyone. It looks, it needs more. Like it's in this in-between state. I feel like you keep building it up, but it's more. It needs more. But we'll move on. Kid looks like they have a beard. Yeah. I think sometimes my kids think that when I was a kid I had a beard. This is so cool. So here we go to the opposite end of the age spectrum. There's a lot to draw here. So strongly lit, so amazing, so cool. So I used to, when I started learning to draw, I almost only drew people that were older and had a lot to draw, a lot of the story of their lives, wrinkles. There's so much to draw. It's really it can be really enjoyable when there's so much to draw. So that will, as a contrast to that precious little baby faced, this is such a cool image. Let's do this one. And by the way, if you haven't already heard, if you haven't already hit the like button, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And if you would like to win one of these sketches, then say so in the chat, and you may. Pretty good odds of winning today. I don't think too many people have entered the giveaway yet. Anyone who says, I would like to win one of these, could potentially win. And I still have not totally streamlined my process yet. So I get all of everyone who's entered into a spreadsheet, and when I'm finished here, then I go to random.org and have it choose a number for me. Let's draw this person. 10 minutes. Now. If anyone wants to hang out and chat, you can come over to my Zoom, or just hang out and sit together. It's always nice to have a conversation, and always nice to have people to sit with together. I didn't catch it earlier, but I asked if people have anyone here been to Shanghai or been to China. Yeah, really interesting eyebrows. There's like the ridge of the eye socket, and then there's this really interesting the musculature of the eyebrow going up this way, but then like the hair of the eyebrows has a different orientation. This is really interesting to see the way they it's just like it's all muscle. It's not there are some really faint eyebrows on there, but yeah, really interesting shape. And there's a very, like with I guess it's a pretty wide angle lens up quite close, and so there's the entire bottom part of the face is really condensed, which is interesting. Really cool perspective. Ah, Barbara, I didn't see. Oh, two people are waiting to get in. Sorry about that. I thought I would see this pop up, and I didn't. But thank you. Here you are. Welcome. I'm letting you in, Barbara and Liz. Thank you for saying that in the chat. Astrid would like to win again. Cool. I'm glad that you got your drawing. Astrid also won a giveaway. Hi. How long were you waiting to get in? Oh, I hope it wasn't cold outside. Thanks for joining Zoom. Oh, that's weird. I thought I would see something up the top being like, bling, these people want to get in, but that's not how it happened. Hi, Liz. you have fun at Gris Roulette? Yeah? Yeah, cool. I know, I was like, oh no, Gris is doing something at the same time. But mine will be, the replay will be available indefinitely. In the early days of streaming, I was like, always make sure not to be doing stuff at the same time, but this is what worked for me. So I made it a bit later. I was thinking of starting at 8:30, but I was like, oh, I'll start a bit later. Oh, cool. How do you like it? Yeah, yeah. And I loved the video. It was just so funny. So Barbara's just saying that she watched my Patreon video today of Ricardo. I showed the images of Ricardo at the beginning of this stream. My latest Patreon tutorial just went live. Yeah, and so the idea is that in the next tutorial, which I thought I would film almost the same day, but then life happened and kids got sick, and but the next Patreon tutorial will follow on from that one, and we will add value to those drawings. Cool. Yeah? Yeah. So you just can't not look at a blind contour drawing? That's okay. Yeah. If you keep it a continuous line, that's cool. But you're a big cheater. Have you always been? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that the idea of the blind contour drawing, I think it's really interesting the way you just totally focus on what you're looking at rather than looking at the paper and worrying about the result. But I understand the temptation to look. 2 minutes left. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this one's, yeah, I like it. This, like so many wonderful images, but this one really was one of the first ones that really got my attention when I was looking through Zeren's profile. It's like, wow, that's cool. People, drawings, and colors. This is already a completed picture. Why are you painting this? Like, why am I still going? I don't know. But it could be. Could just leave it at that. But maybe I can add a little bit more of these signs of life. But there is something, yeah, just kind of the subtlety of the ink wash. It's really nice. Oh, right. This is maybe a favourite so far. It's nice to have that after that little baby face. Felt pretty unsatisfied at the end of that one. But I like this. If I was entering the giveaway, like you all can, I think I would want to win this one. So if you would like to win one of these sketches, enter the giveaway and just tell me in the chat that you'd like to win. Next one. 3 left. Oh, here's another awesome one. Oh, so cool. I love this. It'd be so... Like, it's really interesting not knowing anything about these people, really. It'd be so interesting to know, but it's just a beautiful kind of raw experience, not knowing anything about them. Other than that they were photographed on the streets of Shanghai. All right, 3 to go. Anyone who would like to join us for the last 3 in the Zoom room, come over and I will let you in. Robin, this wasn't perfect, but better than the baby. I know what you mean. Babies need practice. But I was wondering partway through the baby, I was like, oh, if I was just a bit bolder with it, maybe it would have worked out. I felt like there's often the thing that I find when I'm drawing people that kind of seem flawless, that I go really careful, and somehow it's less satisfying than just going for it. And I feel like maybe if I redid it and just went for it rather than being so careful, maybe it would be a more satisfying piece. All right, 10 minutes. Now, I love the gesture of the hand. I'm going to leave it out. I'll just focus on the face. I love the complete composition, so cool, but I'm not gonna spend this time on that hand, although it could be cool, but I don't want to. If you want to, go for it. Or if you want to start with the face and then spend more time with the hand later, you could do that too. Is anyone involved in any particular... here comes Klaus. Anyone involved in any art challenges at the moment? Ronnie loved the baby. Cool. So there's 30 Faces, 30 Days happening at the moment. And there's always any number of like art challenges or art classes happening. Is anyone doing anything special at the moment? Art. Oh, cool. Is that gonna be the whole year? This. Okay. So Barbara's doing the sketch ABC, and is it Der Herr Lehrer and yeah, Cora Freimann. Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing what people are doing. I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that too. And then I see there's all the Face-tastic Fridays. I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that too. But I'm busy enough with what I'm already doing. Yeah, they're really cool. Sketch ABC. I'll share them. I'll post something in my stories and you can have a look. Or Barbara, you could put it in the YouTube chat. there is a lot going on here. So this is another good exercise in kind of simplifying what you see, or just choosing to focus on just the glasses and the eyes. I often feel like, the eyes communicate so much, and if you choose to start from there, really cool piece of advice from the oil painter, plein air painter, Richard Schmidt, was that you should be able to stop working at any time and be able to step away and say it's finished. And whether you're working on it for 10 minutes or 3 hours, that's an interesting idea to have in mind. Like, to be like, if I were just gonna do the bare minimum, or if something happened and I had to leave and I had to change, like, what would I choose to start with, and what would make it compelling in a short space of time? And often that's the eyes with the portrait. Not always, maybe. Doesn't have to be. Dog's breakfast. Yeah. hmm Yeah, that's a good question. So, question in Zoom was just how to get, paraphrasing, how to get the two sides of the glasses looking the same. So the rest of the face is done, it's looking really great, come to the glasses, and you end up drawing two different frames. I just kind of gauging the size. I know, start with one, and I feel like there's a little bit of like muscle memory maybe as well. So you keep look back and forward before you make your mark, and then you can kind of, before you put it down, like if you've gone from one side and drawn out that way, and then you've got your bridge in between, and then kind of be like, okay, how far is that distance? And then maybe it's over here, and then you can kind of check, does that look about right? And the top of the glasses is often easier than the bottom, because it's more of a shallow shape, unless it's really circular. But if you start there and you kind of draw back towards, you can kind of gauge the size. And you could do that from either way. It doesn't matter what side you start on, but I think that could be helpful. Yeah. Oh, I started with the glasses with the little kid, but I don't know, I wasn't really content with it at the end. Oh, really? Cool. Well, that's awesome. Barbara just said she couldn't draw glasses until she started coming to the Tuesday sessions. So if you can't draw glasses, come and draw with us on Tuesdays, because almost everyone who joins us has glasses. So we get a lot of practice. I'm actually working on a big group portrait at the moment, which is for a social centre in Göttingen, and I realised, because they're almost all kids, I was like, wow, I've drawn 20 faces and only 3 of them have glasses. And it would, usually on Tuesdays, it might be the reverse. That nearly everyone has glasses. And it'd be an exception when people don't. Maybe something to do with the age group. Or our chosen area of interest and hobby that we're all focused on, like the desk on the workspace in front of us, and maybe that has something to do with needing glasses. I don't know. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It's So Barbara's just said the thing that I often say, that it's such an advantage once you get comfortable drawing glasses that if you start with them, and it gives you the context of where to put the eyes, and you can really use them as orientation throughout the entire portrait. So it's helpful to get comfortable with them. So just focusing on the eyes, just focusing on the glasses could actually be a really good strategy for getting comfortable expanding to the rest of the portrait. Whoops, splatter. That was interesting. This is the first portrait where I spent so much time with the pen, and now there's not much time left. But it's a very, very bright portrait. Flash photography. That's interesting. When I take photos, I never use a flash. But some of these street photography photos I've been looking at, you can get some pretty wild effects and really strong images with the flash photography. Collier's doing the Sketch ABC as well. Ronnie's doing Let's Face It and 30 Faces, 30 Days. Yeah, I'm teaching in Let's Face It. I think my first lesson is in March. It's going to be a calligraphy pen piece, multiple figure composition. For those who don't know, Let's Face It is a year-long portraiture class challenge with 26 artists teaching, and every week you get a new lesson. No, it's the Cara Bullock Art School, and it's a yearly. Cara has a platform where lots of classes are offered. My calligraphy pen portraiture class is on the Cara Bullock Art School, and Let's Face It is like the flagship, because it's such a cool, like, economical way to learn from a whole bunch of teachers, and it's like this year-long kind of prompt to keep practicing and learning different techniques from a range of different teachers. So it's pretty cool. It's cool to be part of it. And I'm not sure if I have the link in the description here. I've got the one to my calligraphy class, I think, if you look down in the YouTube description. And if you follow that, you can find Let's Face It on that website as well. And otherwise, if you're on Instagram, my link tree, I have it listed as one of the links on my link tree links. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great having you with us. Learning is fun. Learning together. It's awesome. All right. I'll move on to the next. Feel free to ask in a moment. My mum just entered the chat. Mum has woken up and entered the building. So it must be morning in Australia now. Hi, Mum. This one is so cool. This was the first image I saw of Zeren's, and I love it. It is amazing. Like the long exposure, the light dragging through here, the traditional dress, and the smartphones. There's so much to love about this. I was totally blown away when I saw this. This was the one that David shared, and I was just like, whoa, got to draw these people. So this is the second to last one. Oh, cool. 81 Tissel drew the hand instead of the portrait. Awesome. People drawings and colours. You're like Bruce Lee. You have to work no matter what. I like the way. Yeah. Um, yes, such a cool image. Let's draw this one. All right, 10 minutes. What was the question you were about to ask? What am I doing with this pencil? Should I start with the pencil? I don't know. The pencil is in my hand. For those of you who have not yet entered my live chat giveaway, you can just say in the chat that you would like to win one of these. And it's highly likely that you will. Always pretty good odds in my giveaways. Cool. Mum will watch this next week when she stays at Claire's place. Great. Have fun watching it, Mum. This is the new way for Mum to stay up to date with what's going on in my life, since I live on the other side of the world. Watch my live streams. So this is another fairly complex reference image. Another opportunity to simplify things. Like I'm not even looking at that incredible, crazy light thing that's happening at the moment. And the headdress is so intricate, but I'm just really simplifying it a lot. So cool. It'd be interesting to have the hand and the smartphone in this one. I just love the blend of the traditional dress and the smartphone. So what was the question in Zoom just before we finished the last portrait? Was anyone going to ask something? I spent one night in Japan when I first came to Europe. I flew with Japan Airlines, and Narita, I think, was the airport, and spent one night in this city, and it was just such a brief experience, but just the whole visual language of the culture and tradition there is so different, so nice to see. Yeah.
I'm gonna go again. I think the door's open.
Okay.
Can you close them all when you go to bed?
Even if Afra and Louise are not here?
They're here.
They are here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean my door, so I need to hear Holly.
Yeah.
Because you can't, can you?
No, not at the moment.
So just,
Yeah, okay. I'll close everything when I'm done.
yeah.
Good night. Okay, halfway. So this is the, I don't know, feel pretty good with this drawing. Maybe the most time I spent with a pencil drawing before really getting into it so far. But I feel like it's been worth it. What other materials are people working with? What's your medium of choice today? Cool. Which watercolor pencils are you using? Staedtler. Cool. That's funny. I have that sometimes when I go live, and I'm like, "What am I going to use? This, this thing, which is still on my desk." I have some these Inktense water soluble pencils, which are different to normal watercolor pencils because once they wet and dry, they're kind of fixed. That's why they're called Inktense, because it's a bit like ink. They become permanent. Whereas watercolor pencils you can still re-wet and change a bit. And so these Inktense pencils are really cool. Yeah, they're by Derwent. Yeah. Oh, cool. So apparently you can use them on fabric, and you can also get them as I don't have any, but I have been told you can get Inktense blocks. They're not encased in wood. It's just like a block of pigment, which is pretty cool. If you have time on Thursday, this coming Thursday, at the same time that this live stream started, which will be 9 p.m. German time, we are going to be, Shannon and I, will be talking with Tyler Thrasher, who is amazing, so inspiring. He does so much cool stuff. I think I've known his work for like 6 years or something. And I first knew about his work because he crystallizes cicadas. He puts them in various solutions, like a chemical bath, and then they grow crystals on them. And he's done cicadas, snake skeletons, alligator heads, snail shells, crystallize all sorts of things. And that is just one of the many awesome things that he does. He's also got a plant journal called Grower Dam, where you can journal the development of your plants, what they respond well to or what they don't, and it has some advice for growing things and taking care of pests, and it's pretty cool. The Grower Dam journal. He also makes soft toys, scientific plushies, and he makes glow-in-the-dark plants. He does all sorts of amazing things, and he also draws, and he's going to be coming on our show and chatting to us as we draw him, so really looking forward to that. And if any of those amazing things sound interesting to you, then you should definitely make the effort to come join us and ask. Be an opportunity to ask him things, and I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation. And he's big on kindness and curiosity, so it's going to be great having him on as a guest. That was the 10-minute bell. This is nice. I feel like it's really different to everything so far. A lot kind of undone, but I feel like it's really interesting, this state that this is currently in. Okay, moving along to our final image. There's this interesting, almost blue tint at the edge of my line work, and it's all really black. What's going on? I got this new webcam, which is filming my desk space, and unfortunately it's not as intuitive as I had hoped it would be. I have to manually control it, otherwise it does weird things, but it's kind of working. Oh, that's the last page. I have another one of these somewhere. And in case anyone doesn't already know, I'm using Hanemühle Nostalgie paper, which is what I use all the time. So last reference image for today is this one. I'm kind of tempted to redo the kid, to maybe do it again. I don't know if I should do it right now after this, because now I'm warmed up. Let me know in the chat if any of you would be interested in watching me attempt the kid again, a bit bolder this time. If you're happy to stick around, maybe I'll do it again. If everyone's going to leave, then I won't bother. Okay, this is the final image that we have, unless we do the kid again. And it's just so good. I love it. So cool. I've really enjoyed all of these images so much. And I'm honoured to be able to share them with you. And thanks again, Zeren, for sharing them with us. Such incredible photos. It's interesting, there's not a lot that's really white in this image. I feel like I've had some good results by going straight to this kind of mid-tone brush, so maybe try that again. 81 Tizzle will try the kid with me again. Robin will stay. Okay, that's at least 2 people who will draw the kid again with me, so that's enough to do it. All right, so we'll start this one again. So this is our second to last. It would have been the last, but we're going to try the kid again. I'm going to try to be a bit bolder with the kid. And if it still doesn't work out, it's only 10 minutes of our lives, so it's okay. And thank you, Lydia. Ronnie's going to stay. There's at least 4 of us. And thanks, Lydia, for entering my giveaway. In case you somehow didn't hear yet, I'm giving away one of these sketches. So if you tell me in the live chat that you'd like to win one, you may win. And anyone who's made it to the end of this video and is watching the recording, now you know that next time you should join live if you're awake, because maybe you'll win a sketch, which I know is a bit unfair for the people who are asleep. I imagine it must be about 6 in the morning in Shanghai, Australia. My mum just woke up. So sorry for those people who are not able to join live. But I also do other giveaways at other times, so maybe you could win one of those. I saw that I just reached 2,000 followers on TikTok. So maybe I could do a TikTok giveaway live stream. I feel like... How many people here on TikTok? Let me know. Robin can't do any worse than the first try. Cool. So that's a reason to try again. If it can't get worse. And now that we've had so much practice, like we're warmed up. So maybe now it'll be like the golden opportunity to do it and get it right. So yeah, is anyone in the chat on TikTok? Yeah? Do you use it much? Yeah. I don't know. I felt like last year around this time I really started with TikTok and put a bit of effort into it, and it felt like the first... I know it's hard. I feel like it's a challenge growing. Like nothing kind of happens really easily. You have to put a lot of effort into it. Yeah. But it was interesting because I think there were a couple of 30 Faces 30 Days, and I reached 1,000 around April, and then from April, so that was like quite a bit of effort, but also like about 4 months, and then from April until now to get another 1,000. So I don't know. There are all these people. Yeah. 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 I don't know. For me, I felt like YouTube has kind of more perspective than I feel like TikTok does. Also, the stuff I'm doing is really long. So it's like quite different kind of attention span to TikTok, I guess. But maybe just doing like a 10-minute portrait a week on TikTok live, maybe that would... Yeah, like keep it pretty low key. Oh yeah, what was it? Wait a minute, who? What was... I missed the key. I think it was a lot less. So the question was, do I think the pandemic sparked all of this opportunity to do online art stuff? I know it was happening before, but I wasn't involved in it before. So I was teaching real world sessions and hosting sketch sessions. And I'd been talking to some friends, and they're like, you should be doing live streams. Like, live streams are so cool. Like, you have an international audience. And so I was thinking about it before the pandemic hit. So I was kind of like primed for it with the Zoom sessions, because I was kind of already thinking about it. It kind of took a while before I really settled into the live streaming, but I love it. So it did exist, but I think it didn't kind of have that traction until everyone was at home looking for something to do. But I love it because there's really not much on offer where I live, and I think that's the case for a lot of people, or you don't necessarily have the time, or like for me with kids, it's a big effort to kind of go anywhere and do anything, and being able to offer this online is just so great. And the international part of it I really love. Like I mentioned, drawing this reference is like traveling and then hanging out and chatting with other sketchers from all over the world. It's really such a beautiful opportunity to learn together and learn with each other. So, yeah. So I think there are places and cities where there's always stuff happening. The place where I live, there's not really a lot on offer. I think there's a bit more that I'm aware of now. But when I first came here to Göttingen in Germany, there was not really much like visual art scene that I was aware of. So then it was really cool, even though like the stuff that was on offer, I don't know, it didn't really call to me. And then I had friends from the States who were like, well, if it doesn't exist, then you've got to be the person to offer it. And so I did. But yeah, the Kara Bullock Art School, where Let's Face It is hosted, I think it's like the 10th year of Let's Face It. So Kara's been at it for a long time. And she's really built up a really cool platform and has a wonderful community of people learning together. But I'd definitely say that the pandemic kind of pushed people to find online solutions to alternatives for their hobbies. Who in the chat started this online sketch business because of the pandemic? Participating? That's 10 minutes, but I'm going to go a little bit longer because I just decided to put a bit more contrast in here, and I can't just leave it like that. But it doesn't need too much, I think. And for those who are super keen, who want to risk trying the baby face again, you can stay and we'll draw that little kid again. And maybe after 2 hours of sketching together, we're actually now prepared and primed to draw that little baby face. And maybe it won't work out, but it's okay. But we have the chance to potentially be a bit more content with that baby face. All right. Who's staying for the baby face? It was such a cool reference image. So you stay. Okay, cool. So Barbara's going to stay, but it's not going to draw. And once we've finished this baby face, I'll look back through all of the sketches which one was it? Number 5, I think. Here we go. I'll look back through everything I've done so far. Started during the pandemic, hadn't made anything since high school 20 years ago. That's amazing. Live streams and online courses, positive result of the pandemic. Restarted drawing during the pandemic. Yeah, it's so cool to hear from everyone that's definitely what offering these things. Something I heard a lot, that people hadn't drawn for a long time and it was a thing to do, like yeah, a creative focus. Okay. What's it? Oh boy. little bit of dread. What's the best way to go about doing this? You're going to try? Awesome. What's the best way? That's a good idea. Starting with the glasses. Oh, I don't have anything. I once, in 30 Faces, 30 Days, I think it was Tiffany Estevanzo, there were round glasses and she just put something round on the paper and traced it. Yeah, that was cool. I wonder, is this big enough? There's no such thing as cheating. If it works, do it. I might just try that. This might. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. You're doing it. All right, let's do it. A stencil. A circle stencil. So this circle is the lens. There'll be another circle outside of it. All right. Oh, this is way easier. Just leave it like this. And just imagine the rest. I want it to be bolder, so I won't do too much with the pencil. I'm going to put the glasses down and then I'll go over to ink. And if you need a support, some kind of crutch to help, then it's totally valid to use what you have available. Saves a lot of time and trepidation, fear, anxiety. It's like, I can't even draw a circle. How am I going to draw these glasses? All right. There's this white shoes and the reflection. I'll just kind of put them in with the pencil. I'll just check. Alexa needs to leave. Still 20 people watching. Well done, everyone. That's awesome. Is everyone drawing? Or some people just kind of hanging out with us? Cool. Awesome. The one behind the hand. Yeah, there's a raised hand. That second ponytail is behind the hand. So it's kind of doing what the other one's doing, I imagine. It's just obscured. All right, be bold. Maybe it will work out. Maybe it won't. But it's good to try something different. I've often had that where I feel like I've started something really carefully and then I'm like, and sometimes I spend a really long time on something and be like, I do things in 2 minutes sometimes that feel better than this. So then sometimes it's a good kind of reminder to loosen up, to restart, try again. It doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does. I've also had it in the middle of like a longer piece that I just feel stuck, and then I just stop and do like some 6-minute portraits or something, and then loosen up and kind of recommence with a different kind of approach. I'm not even going to have space for the hair this time on the sides. Yeah, yeah. It's a very, very cartoony, chubby, adorable face. All right, we're halfway in. I feel a bit fresher with this one than I did with the last one. Yeah. Does the cat join you in bed, or the cat just wants you to leave its space? Okay. It's like, aren't you forgetting something? All right, this is interesting, just entering with a kind of another level of value into the face. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cute overload. All right, 2.5 minutes left. This is heaps better than the first attempt. Yeah, that was good. And for those of you who maybe this is not any better than the first attempt, that's okay. Always learning something. Sometimes it might take a bit of effort and reflection to realize, oh, what did I actually learn from that, apart from that didn't feel good. sometimes just doesn't work out. But if you're able to take a breath and kind of be like, what didn't work about this? What could be different? Then you could have an opportunity to try something different next time. I won't get too much into detail in the lenses. I think it's amazing, but we could spend a lot of time. And if I went in with the pen starting to draw what was in the reflection, there'd be too much intricacy, too much kind of definition and line weight I think it wouldn't be able to do it justice in the time. So just something kind of implied with a few brush strokes is just enough. All right. Okay. That's 10 minutes. I can see things that could be a bit different, but I feel a lot better about it than the last one. How did everyone else do? I'll jump right back to the last version of that, which in comparison, I like the second one a lot more. I'll get rid of the reference now. This is a weird thing. Why is my camera cropped like that? By the next live stream, I'll have figured it out. So, these two next to each other. This is big, bolder. This has got a lot of fiddly kind of pencil stuff going on. I like this one a lot more. And that trick with the glasses in the beginning helped. Thank you, Tiffany, for that. 30 Faces, 30 Days lesson a couple of years ago. Okay, I will look through now. Which ink am I using, Marion? Thank you for asking. I am using... this is a Pelican Brilliant Black, Brilliant Schwarz. I have a jar of that here. And I am also actually using it in the pen because I have a refillable. This is a Herlitz calligraphy pen, and I have this converter thing which has a plunger, which is actually from Faber-Castell, but it fits in the Herlitz pen. And I can put that into the ink and has a little plunger that pulls the ink into it. So I have the same ink in the pen as well. Pelican 4001 is the number. Brilliant Black. So I'll go back through my sketches. If you would like to win one of them, let me know in the chat. Make sure you're following me on 81 Tizzle. Yours is better than the first, still not great. Oh well, exactly. Oh well. Better than the first, that's something, isn't it? It would be, if you are following me on Instagram, that's cool. If you're not even on Instagram, that's cool as well. If you had entered the giveaway, maybe once this is finished, you could leave a comment instead of in the live chat so I know how to get in touch with you in case you win. For those of you who I know on Instagram, it's easy to get in touch, but in case we're not connected that way, or on Facebook, make sure you leave a comment in the actual video, then I'll be able to get back into it. And let me know, if you haven't yet said you want to win, then let me know that you want to win. And as I mentioned earlier, every time I do one of these multiple portrait live streams, I give one away. I really like the layering in the face here. This is cool. Yeah, and when this was finished after the 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I feel like I need more for this. But now I feel good. Often it's good when you look at the drawings without the reference next to it. And I know that Barbara mentioned that, was that in the post today? Yeah, with that Wednesday reference. And I've often had that experience as well, that it's like you're sitting there and you've got the reference right next to it. It's like, nah, it doesn't look so good. But once you look at it removed from that comparison to the reference, then often things are good. This one was fun with Zeren. I really like this one, number 2. That was early. Yeah, so these are there we go. This one will be kind of, there's still, it's not all bad, but I definitely feel better with the second one. So yeah, these are all of the sketches that I did today. I'd love to see yours. So if you are posting on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, you can tag me. Yeah, I'd love to see them. Use the hashtags that I've got up on the screen here, Drawing with Dylan and 10 Minute Portrait. Oh, that's cool too. The layering. There's something that I really love about the mix of like hard contrast and really this definition from the pen and the really soft layering. There's something really, I don't know, enjoyable about it for me. Does anyone have any favorites? If you've entered the giveaway and you would like to win one and you already know that one's my favorite, unfortunately we don't have names for any of them, but you could say which one it is. Oh, I like this one. That's cool. So yeah, that was fun. Thank you so much for joining, for being here and drawing together. Thank you for those who came into Zoom. It's lovely having people to talk to. Thank you so much, Shannon, on Instagram, who posted images. Yeah, cool. The guy with baseball cap. Yeah, that was fun. I'm super interested to see how you went, 81 Tizzle, just drawing the hand and not the portrait. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see everything that all of you have done, if you like to share. If you don't post your work anywhere, that's fine too. But if you do stories, tag me in it and then I can share it to my stories. That'll be fun. And at some stage, I will have streamlined this giveaway process where I'll be able to say right at the end, hey, you won. I'm not there yet. I will be one day. It would be a really satisfying end to the live stream to be like, and the winner is, but I can't expect you to hang around for the extra time it takes me to make my spreadsheet and go into random.org. But thank you all for being here. You're all awesome. If you're interested in checking the Patreon tutorial that we talked about earlier, I'll just show you. This was the first drawing I did, which was a half-blind contour drawing of Ricardo. It's focused on kind of my approach of drawing from observation, which I'm constantly practicing, and the way I look at things and kind of measure by eye. It's about measuring by eye. And then we go into a longer drawing where we really break it down into the way angles interact with each other and the way we find shapes and the spaces between things, and then finish it up with a looser drawing. These are all of Ricardo Franz Baldish, and you can check out the Patreon link, which is down in the description, if you would like to watch these and my monthly tutorials. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all the likes and comments. Thank you just for being here and watching. If you're a silent observer, that's awesome too. If anyone would like to buy me a coffee, you can also buy me a coffee. And I would love to have you join next time. And join us on Thursday, because it's going to be really awesome talking to Tyler Thrasher. Be sure to check out my Instagram post, because I'll be sharing a lot of his work leading up to Thursday. It's going to be really, really cool, because he just does so much amazing stuff. So it's always nice. Drawn Together is such a cool project. Thank you, Shannon, for doing that together. We get to talk to all these cool people, and we have a lot more cool guests in store. So thanks for being here, everyone. You're all awesome, and I can't wait to see your work, and would love to have you here next time too. I'll leave Zoom open a little bit longer to say goodbye. But for YouTube, bye. Thanks for getting in. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. Take care.